Hey y'all, it's Miss A. Today we're going to be creating box plots from a set of data. Yesterday we were identifying the 5 components that make up a box plot, the minimum, maximum, median, Q1 or lower quartile, and Q3 upper quartile. We were just identifying them from an already created box plot. Today we are actually going to be given a set of data and we have to find these 5 values ourselves and then plot them and make the box plot ourselves. Luckily, it's just finding the median a lot because minimum, maximum are easy. And then down here for quartile 1 and 3, that is the median or the middle of the upper and lower half of data. So it's not too bad. It's just a little bit time consuming, but this is one of my favorite ones to create. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We've got these steps here that you can follow. Order the data from least to greatest. Find those 5 boundary points. We're going to graph them on a number line, and then we're going to draw the box and the vertical line through the median, and then draw your 2 horizontal lines from the minimum to the quartiles on either side. Minimum, maximum. So anyway, we'll talk more about that whenever we get to it. But first of all, let's look at our data set. All right, so we have this data set, and the first thing we notice is that it is not in order from least to greatest. So we need to put that in order first. So I will be right back and have this data ordered for you. All right, I'm back. Got the data in order from least to greatest. Make sure you cross off the numbers as you write them. Doesn't hurt to go ahead and count them again just to make sure that you didn't miss any. But now let's go ahead and get started. We are going to find that 5 number summary. And I'm actually going to put them in order as they're going to appear on the number line. If you remember yesterday, the first point that was always on the box plot was the minimum. So I'm going to put min for minimum. The next point that came was the beginning of our box, which was Q1, or our lower quartile. In the middle of our box was our median. The end of our box was our 3rd quartile, or upper quartile. And at the very end was always our maximum. And I'll put max. So I'm doing them in this order because this is the way they're going to appear and the way I'm going to graph them on the number line. So let's identify these 2 easy ones first. That's the minimum and maximum. So by putting them in order, that's very easy to identify. So the minimum is 55 and the maximum is 100. All right, next, I can't find the Q1 and Q3 until I find the median. And I need to find the median of the whole data set first. So typically, I would cross off numbers, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to need these numbers later to find these 2 values. So I'm going to just underline them. Low, high, all the way until I get in the middle. So you notice here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underlined, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underlined, and just 1 left in the middle. So I'm going to circle that because that is my median. That's my median. It's the number exactly in the middle of the data. Now to find the Q1 and Q3, remember up here it says for quartile 1, that is the middle or median of the lower half of data, and then the quartile 3 is the middle of the upper half of data. So all I have to do now is identify that lower half, which is not including the median. The median was in the middle. Everything else was below that. So I'm going to find the middle of this data set. Now I can cross numbers off because I don't need them after this. So low, high, leaving me with 72 in the middle. That's my Q1. And then from my upper half of data, again, not including that median because the median was in the middle, cross off low, high, leave me with 94 in the middle. So that's my Q3, 94. Now these numbers, as you can tell, these numbers are increasing in value. If they didn't increase in value, if you went back to 60, like after you went to 55, 72, 60 something, then that would be a red flag that something's wrong. These numbers, if you put them in this order, should increase in value. All right, our next step is to take these points and plot them the best we can. Notice there's a big gap between numbers here on the number line, so it's not going to be exact. We're going to do the best we can. So 55 is between 50 and 60. We're going to do it above the number line because we're going to make a box plot. 72 would be a little bit past 70. 84 would be almost in the middle, but not quite. Same thing with 94. And then 100. Now, to create the actual box plot, we're going to take those three middle values, our Q1, our median, and our Q3, and we're going to create the box out of it. So to do that, we're going to take those three middle dots and draw a line going down the middle of it like that. And then we can just connect them to make the actual box. And then the last part is that whisker part. Told you yesterday that they used to be called box and whisker. We're going to just draw a line from that Q3 to the maximum, and then draw a line from the Q1 to the minimum. And there is our box plot. And that's it. All right, we're going to do one more example. If you would like to try find that 5-number summary on your own, then pause the video, put these numbers in order, and the 5 values you are finding are the minimum, the Q1, median, Q3, and maximum. See how many of these you can find on your own. So go ahead and pause the video, and then come back and check with me. And I'll pause the video in case you're following along with me. I'm gonna pause the video for a second to put these numbers in order, and I'll be right back. All right, now that I got those numbers in order from least to greatest, be careful. You notice that we did have the 22 that repeats here and the 28, so don't just, like crossing them off as you're going is very important so you don't accidentally miss those. Because you might think, oh, I already got it, but, and always double count. Make sure your number that you wrote matches the original number of values. All right, so let's start finding that 5-number summary. We'll start with the minimum. Minimum is the lowest number of 13. Maximum is the highest number of 30. And then the next thing we're going to find is the median. So median is the middle. So low, high. All right, and I actually have to stop here because if I do that again, I'm going to end up crossing off everything. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers underlined here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know I've done it the same amount on each side, and there's 2 left in the middle. So my median is not 22. My median is not 23. My median is actually in the middle between those 2 values. And the only thing, there's no number actually in between 22 and 23, so it's 22.5. 22.5. So remember, if there's 2 numbers in the middle, also what you could do is take them, add them together. You get 45, and then do 45 divide by 2. And that's where the 22.5 comes from. All right, so if there's 2 numbers in the middle, add them up and divide by 2. Or try to figure out what's in the middle between them. If they're back to back, if it just increases by 1, 22, 23, then it's just 22.5 in this case. All right, so that is my median, 22.5. Now I'm going to find the median of the lower half of data. So we're not going to leave any number out this time because earlier this number was in the middle, so we circled it and took it out basically and didn't include it in the lower and upper half. But here, there was no value exactly in the middle here, so I'm not taking anything out. My lower half of data includes that 22, and my upper half of data includes that 23. So to find my lower half, my median of my lower half, I'm going to cross off low, high, and again, you notice we have 2 in the middle. So I'm going to add those 2 up, 19 plus 21, and we get 40. And then 40 divided by 2 is 20. And you could have seen that hopefully the only thing that falls between 19 and 21 is the number 20. So Q1 is right there of 20. I can't see what I'm writing over there. All right, and then over here, same thing. We're going to cross off low, high. And here we have 2 numbers in the middle again. This is a little bit bigger of a range, so it might be harder to see. So let's add those 2 up. 25 plus 28. We get 53. And then we're going to take those that new number and divide it by 2. Goes in twice. Run out of space. Have to add a 0.0. and then we get 0.5. Sorry about that, guys. 26.5. So again, we had to add those numbers up and then divide by 2 because there were 2 numbers in the middle. So that is my Q3 of 26.5. We're going to graph those 5 points the best we can. So 13 is in between 12 and 14. 20. 22 and a half. So here's 23, so 22 and a half will be maybe right here. 26 and a half, here's 27, so close enough. And then 30. If you were doing this on a test, they would give you better numbers. Like they wouldn't give you something in between where it's hard to tell. It'd be a little bit more exact. So now we're going to take those 3 middle dots, the Q1, the median, and the Q3, and we're going to draw a line so we can create our box. And then from Q3 to the maximum, draw a line. From Q1 to the minimum, draw a line, and there is our box plot. All right, and then we're going to answer just a couple questions from this box plot that goes along with it. Your IXL skill today is going to have you create some and then also answer some questions from some. All right, so what is the median? Median was the middle. Remember, middle is the middle of the box. So that was right here. It's kind of hard to tell on this number line, but we already found it. So the median was 22.5. How many students does the smallest class have? So the smallest, these are number of students per classroom. So the smallest number was this minimum, which was between 12 and 14, which was 13, which we had minimum right here. How many students are in the classrooms in the upper half of data? So we don't know exactly, but we know, like if we were just looking at this, we would say the upper half would be from the median and up. Or if we had the data set, we could say from here 23 to 30. So I'm going to use the data set that was up here. So the upper half of data, the students in the classrooms in the upper half of data was 23 to 30. If you were looking at the box plot only though, it would be from the median. Again, we already knew the median was 22.5. And then it would go to the maximum, which in this case is 30. So this was from the actual data set. This was from the box plot. All right, and then the last one's true or false. It says the data represents 30 classrooms. So this does not even talk about the actual classrooms. It's talking about the number of students per classroom. So that's actually a false statement. That number 30 is not the number of classrooms. It's the number of students in the classrooms. That's a false statement. You actually cannot determine how many classrooms were in this data set just from looking at a box plot. We can by counting this, 1, 2, 3, counting the values, but if you were just given a box plot, it does not tell you how many data pieces were in that set. Box plot doesn't do that. One other thing they might ask you to find is the range. Remember, the range is taking the maximum and subtracting the minimum. So that would be 30 minus the minimum of 13. So just remember that. That is a question on your IXL today. So 17. To find the range is maximum minus minimum. All right, that is it, guys. Just creating a box plot, finding that 5-number summary, plotting them on a number line, and connecting the dots. The 3 middle dots always make your box, and then the 2 outside make your whiskers. I don't know why they stopped calling it box and whisker plots, but anyway, if y'all have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Y'all know I'm available on Zoom. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.